So I'm working on the sill panel today. This black panel, which runs all the way to the part where I cut it off. And on top, I need to make this part fit better so that the rest will slide into place. This is all pretty neat already. Rear end, rear part fits good. But what I noticed is that this cut of the new panel is not made by me. So it seems like the top part here is missing. And fortunately I saved part of the original sill. And I cut this off originally on the bottom here, which is this part, because this was rotten. And eventually, because I needed to get deeper inside, I cut off the top part, this bit. And now when we put this over, you see that my new panel is missing that top part. And fortunately I saved this little bit, and we can also see that I miss the last few centimeters to the right of this panel. But when we look at it, you can already see at the corner, let me get that into focus. Here, this little fold ends right about here. You see? So the rest of the panel is just flat. So if I weld this, I cut this top section off and weld that onto the new panel, and then over here I make a little flat extension, which probably goes around the corner there. Then I will have the original panel mimicked, and I'm not really missing anything. It's just another cut and weld part. And I took a look. I also have, for the right hand side, which I fear is the same or worse, I also have this black panel bought new, and it also misses, it also has this cut. So it also misses this upper part. So next time I make the cut, I will make the cut in the original car deeper and not cut over here, and save the holes, save like 4 centimeters or 3 centimeters high all the way this part. And I might cut it off anyway to make sure that I have access to everything that's behind here. But at least then I'll have the whole section saved, and I won't have to cut it back and cut and weld in all small pieces like I'm not going to do now. And it doesn't really matter, it just saves time, and this will be as good as the original, or even slightly better. No, it won't be, but still it will work. So that's what I'm working on now. If the camera would like to focus, no it doesn't. And it's just a matter of making the panels fit, and once this fits properly I'll weld on this extension piece and the newly fabricated extension piece and then hopefully weld it into place. And on the front side I can primer this again with zinc coating. The rear section is already in primer in the zinc coating, and over here I won't be able to get behind the panel anymore, but I have a wax oil in a spray can, and the spray can is equipped with a little plastic hose and extension nozzle. So through the holes that are in the top of the sill I will be able to get all the wax oil sprayed in this cavity, and also from up here I can get in. So no more zinc coating on the inside on that part, or very little. I can access this section here, and maybe in here, but the other parts I won't be able to access. So a lot of wax oil will come in there, but I'm still a few steps from the wax oil. So I'll share that with you when we get there. Just a little thing in between. Besides the new gloves, because I damaged and threw away the old ones, they cost $1 a pair, so don't save on that. As you can see, this is the panel, and I took the paint off because I need to weld it. I also did that on the edge of the little piece that I need to weld on, and I did that with a grinding disc, or with a disc I didn't know yet. I saw this on the internet. on Harry the Ferryman's channel, Dutch guy reviewing a lot of stuff. I'm Dutch, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed. And this is a really thick disc, really open structure, and it really takes off the paint and coating and whatever is on there really quickly, and it hardly seems to impact the panel itself. So I saw it on his channel. I'm sorry, Harry, if you ever see this, I didn't buy it from your sponsor, as I just picked one up at the local hardware store. But it really seems to work. Still, you need to wear protective goggles with this because some sparks will come off. And anyway, anytime you come near an angle grinder piece, put on a protective stuff, goggles at least. I always wear my mouthpiece, so a little ventilation mask, and goggles and ear protection because they make a lot of noise. But anyway, this paint removal disc seems to work really nicely. I like it. And I'm only considering to buy more angle grinders because I have the grind disc, I have the cut disc, and now I have a third disc. So I'm changing discs like every second. But that's part of the game. And I'm not going to invest in a lot more angle grinders. Maybe if I make a job out of this, I will, but I don't like doing this stuff, so I'm not going to make a job out of it. Maybe you saw them in the first little part of this video. I was in the hardware store and I saw these vice grips. And they are really small. I mean, I have small hands and you can see these are really tiny, which has two advantages. One is you can pretty much fit them anywhere. They don't have a lot of grip. You can't push and force anything together with them, which I don't want to. I want I want the panels to fit without force, and then just clamp them into place. And the biggest benefit is that they come at $2 each. So I bought a lot of them, and it's very easy. It's proven to work very well. I'm now clamping. I just clamped on this little extra piece on the inner sill, or the outer sill panel it is, and I just put some welds on there. So now I'm removing the clamps. But these little clamps, if you come across them, $2 each, or $2.20 or something like that, and they work. And should ever one break, I'm throwing it away and get another one. I don't want to seem wasteful, but yeah, don't skimp on real good equipment, but for jobs like this is good equipment. So the sill panel is nearly done. I've put on the new edge. I ground away too far here. It'll come a bit closer when I push it into place, but there's a gap, and I'll either weld that shut or just weld all the edges together and leave a small gap in there that doesn't do anything bad for the strength of the panel. I didn't drill all the spot weld or plug welds, it will be holes yet, but I did drill the ones I was afraid of, and I don't know whether you can see it. I might add a little light like this, but through every little hole in the bottom, the inner sill panel can be reached. It's all fits snug, so I will put a Velcro pen through those holes to mark them out on the inner sill, and then grind them clear so that there's actually steel to weld to and no zinc coating. So it fits, and I'm pretty close to welding it in, which is not bad after like a month of working on and off. No, that's not true. I only spent a few hours doing all this up to now. I think a total of, if I would have worked continuously, I think 4 or 5 hours of work has gone in so far. But I just can't seem to find the time to really work on it straight for a few hours. So anyway, getting there eventually. So here we are again. You can already see the marking of where my new outer fender part is going to be. marking that out because, good news, the structure is back in the car. The outer sill is on. Everything's been welded in place. Everything's been zinc coated. The openings are still open. The drain holes, I should say. It's not the most beautiful weld work. I now have recently bought a new welder, which I'm very happy about, which makes the welding a lot better. So I even cleaned up or ground off some of the welds and replaced them. But the rest of it is going to not to be seen anyway, so that's good. As soon as I was done with the welding, you can see it's all brown and mucky in there. That's the wax oil I sprayed in. So that's good. And it also dripped out from the bottom, so that's good. I sprayed inside the sills as well through these holes. So yeah, finally some real progress. It's structurally a car again. I will need to finish up cutting on this part of the quarter panel. Then I can mark that out as well. It'll be like a little curve here and following the same line, and I need to follow this line here, which I already marked there. And then I can weld that in. And then this side is done. Well, ready for the painters to be smoothed out and painted, but I'm not going to do that myself.